everyone. As some of you may already know, Ed Dutton and I have a bad history. He obviously doesn't want to talk about secular Quranism, though he wants to talk about Islam, and I know why. He's not the only one, really. So, although he's some kind of evolutionary psychologist or whatever he says he is, some kind of academic with some degree in anthropology, he actually has a duty to discuss the role of religion in society, but he's too afraid because he doesn't want to alienate his subscribers who are anti-Semites and Islamophobes. So when he does mention Islam, it has to be just the right degree of falling on the side of political correctness and not saying things that might be construed as Islamophobic, though he has said that Muslims are low IQ and Islam is stupid. And because he's not a serious academic, nobody has taken him up on it. I know he's had a few discussions with some Muslims on the subject. I think he spoke to Rob before, but Rob is not the brightest bulb in the box, and he didn't really give Ed Dutton a seeing to as I would have done, and Dutton basically knows that I want to speak to him, but he doesn't want to speak to me because he knows I'm going to be asking him a few awkward questions, and that is why he is avoiding me. And I've had helpful people who actually expended money by paying for super chats with Dutton to ask him why he won't discuss secular Quranism, and he's been predictably rude. Oh, it's insignificant. I don't matter, and the usual rubbish. But the real reason, of course, is that it is a taboo. Obviously, everything about secular Quranism is antithetical to the matriarchy and liberalism and Christianity, and there are many sacred cows that secular Quranism is proposing to slay. And Gus is not the only person who wonders why Ed won't talk about secular Quranism. And to be fair to Gus, he's not exactly an Islamophile, rather the opposite. But at least he's prepared to keep the channels of communication open with me, so we can, occasionally have a ding-dong about why the West needs a religion, and he will say, over my dead body it can never be Islam, it will destroy whatever's left of white identity, and rubbish like that. Anyway, we know that Dutton has argued with E. Michael Jones and then said he can't come back on his channel again. And that's a bit cowardly. I would certainly have E. Michael Jones on my channel, but the thing is, E. Michael Jones won't talk to me about the Trinity. He will only talk to me about the hijab, which is boring. I'm talking about the hijab. I thought of a brilliant way of getting women to wear the hijab in Iran, and I have even tagged the Ayatollah Khomeini about how to do it. So I know in Iran they're having a bit of a hijab problem, because all these women have been infected by ideas of feminism, and they want to make their protest by burning their hijab, which is kind of the less awful equivalent of feminists in the 70s burning their bras. Obviously, the Iran won't fall if women don't wear their hijabs, but it is symbolic of feminine modesty, and is one of the sacred cows of the Iranian Revolution. So I can understand why the government is so intent on making them wear it. But I have thought of a way of making women wear their hijab in Iran, um, by the simple expedient of saying, you don't have to wear your hijab if you're a prostitute. Now, just imagine that. If that were actually, I tagged the Imam Khomeini with my suggestion, and I have lots of suggestions for lots of world leaders too, and maybe some of them will be acted on, and then good results will flow, and then secular Quranism will take over the world. But anyway, isn't it a good idea? Don't you think it would work if Iran said anyone who's a prostitute need not wear their hijab? How about that? And you can imagine all kinds of sluts who don't want to be known as sluts would be hurrying to get their hijabs on. And the thing about the hijab is that, it doesn't have to be those ugly things that you see. It can be, a nice chiffon scarf to put on your hair to make you even more alluring. I mean, it's like one of those scenes from Victorian dramas, the widow veiled and mysterious, looking out through her veil, and it's all very exciting and mysterious. So I don't think women would actually lose their femininity by wearing the hijab, and for women who need to. Okay, for women who have the occasional bad hair day, that they might feel that wearing a hijab is, saves them a trip to the hairdresser or something. So, I think for women, it has certain conveniences and advantages, and they shouldn't, stick their noses up at it. Okay, I have wanted rather off the subject of Gus being blocked, being disabled from commenting on Ed Dutton's channel, and he complained to me last night. And the thing about Gus is, um, he didn't even mention to me that his channel had been deleted. I mean, I would have thought, you sort of mention it, it's like, my channel has been deleted. It would be, I guess, in normal social life, you would sort of say if your spouse had died, it's like, I lost my spouse, and you expect everyone to express, to give you their condolences and sympathies, and this is kind of now the etiquette of our online communities. But Gus didn't even mention it because, I mean, the moment he talked about Dutton's channel being disabling him from commenting, I had a good look on YouTube for his channel, but it's now gone, and he didn't even tell me. So I don't know if I am to take it amiss, but I actually enjoyed his videos because he does allow free speech. I mean, we can have a good old ding dong about Islam and how horrible it is, but he'll still talk to me, and that's what I like about Gus. And when you listen to Gus, he's sincere, and that's the most important thing. So, but all is not lost. He's on Odyssey, and I've put his channel, the link to his channel, in the description, as I hope you can see. So you can go there and subscribe and to his channel and like his videos the way I've done, and there's quite good stuff. Going back to Jonathan Bowden days. I don't know. He never joined the BNP, but he was aware of it, and it brought back memories for me. So it's very disappointing when I suppose what you might call the leading lights of the dissident right cannot themselves support free speech. It is a principle that degenerate and unprincipled men just cannot seem to adhere to. So I am proud to be one of those people who are consistently able to allow freedom of speech on my channels and my interactions on other social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook, etc. So I think Dutton would argue that he's got a living to make. He's a grifter. He derives an income from YouTube, from his videos, and it would be a disaster if he lost his channel for. But I think you don't lose your channel because your viewers misbehave by posting shit in the chat. I don't think so anyway. And it wasn't because Gus was saying anything terrible. He was just saying, what was Gus saying? Gus was criticizing Dutton's Substack grifting. And he couldn't take it. Dutton couldn't take it and disabled Gus from commenting. That's pretty low down and dirty, isn't it? It's womanish. I would say womanish, degenerate, unprincipled, unmanly. I'm sorry, I shouldn't read my notifications when I'm talking to you, should I? Where was I? Hello, Orfeo Trishula. So the principle of free speech, I guess I could give a short talk about the subject. Obviously it's important. You should allow people to criticize you. Why not? Unless they're saying something that is clearly defamatory, and even if it's defamatory, well, it depends on how serious it is, and this is a test that is made when people in the UK want to sue for libel. It has to be shown to cause serious damage, and sometimes you can what's the word? Cause your own defamation by talking too much about it. If it's by complaining about it, you spread the defamation. You make it more known when if you just ignored it, it would have gone away. So on matters of free speech, it is important for any advanced society to say for people to discuss things. So we have seen the corruption of the language that is caused by people trying to avoid, being done for talking about this or saying, expressing certain views, and then they have code words, and then it gets really confusing, and then a lot of people don't get the meaning of the code word, and then they base their premises on base their arguments on incorrect premises. So I say, away with these restrictions on free speech, but I suppose that the silver lining is that when the others are so unable to tolerate free speech, I am head and shoulders above all the others in being able to tolerate challenges to my arguments and criticisms about my ideas. Oh, an interesting question from Orfeo Trishula. Post away your criticisms of me. He says, I'm curious of your thinking regarding imperial versus national identities. Well, China is an empire, but it's also a nation. Britain is a nation, and it's also an empire. So, what's your next question? Here is a critique. Islam seeks to take many nations and reduce them to one which works in a deracinated motif, but it begs a series of questions, like, for instance, why is race even to begin with? It doesn't make much sense, but I'll talk about your thing clause by clause. So he says, Islam seeks to take many nations, but it's not just Islam. Communism aspires to global domination, and Christianity has acquired 3 global empires. So I think the post-Christian complaining about Islamic imperialism is really pot calling the kettle black, and it exasperates me because it shows a lack of understanding of their own history and lack of self-awareness. It's like, you guys, you've got your 3 global empires, and you're whinging about a few Muslims committing acts of terrorism because they object to your Western imperialism, and you can't even take it, and you have to. I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? When a boot's on the other foot, you can't take it. You can dish it out, but you can't take it, and that is effeminate, ultimately. And you men have a problem. Well, you have a problem, and your women know you have a problem, and you can't just carry on whinging. You need to do something about it. And I don't know, you're too old, you're too doddery, you're too degenerate, you're too divided, and you can't do anything. Every day there's a fresh, every day brings a fresh humiliation, doesn't it? Some stupid thing that your government is imposing on you, some prospect of future censorship, and you can't do anything, you can't organise yourselves, you can only whinge like women. And your women know, and your women hate you, and want you dead and gone. That's why they keep voting for political parties that promise more immigration, because I guess amongst the wave of foreign men coming to these shores, your women will think, we might find somebody prepared to marry us, even if it's only for our passports. And this is the state of Western masculinity now. So, well, I don't know what you mean by why is race even to begin with. I think you know that your English teacher will say that you'll have to reword that question because it makes no sense. So, historically, communism seems like secular Islam. I mean, what does that even mean? The separate ideologies, communism is atheist, and my ideology, my moral and legal political system is not called secular Islam, it's called secular Quranism. Why don't you buy the book? It's not it's not going to break your bank. Okay, it's available on Amazon. It's a short book in large type. So, if you're really interested, all you have to do is read it, and then instead of speculating and getting all the major terms wrong, I think it would help you, and I think you would enjoy reading it. All right. I mean, it's not asking that much, and also it's the only big idea around. And it would also help if you would review it on Goodreads. I've got two reviews. It's really not good enough, but I suppose eventually some people will review it. Some people who've actually read the book will review it. Here is the link to Goodreads for you to review the book, and now I will give you the link to Amazon so you can buy the book. And it comes really quickly. It seems to arrive before the um, stated delivery time. So I don't understand your question. You say, okay, I've answered your question. Communism is in no way like secular Quranism because secular Quranism is based on the Quran, while communism is based on, well, Das Kapital and what's the other one? The Communist Manifesto. So I'm hopeful that I will get more intelligent questions from Orfeo Trishula. But I don't know. Well, I'm glad you're taking an interest. You seem an educated man. Perhaps I should ask you a few questions about what you think religion is for, because I think that should be my conversational gambit. What do you think religion is for? And then people can say their thing, and then they can feel, valued for having their opinion solicited, and then I can jump in there with my secular Quranism. Now, Orfeo Trishula, do you know that I have other channels and I have a link tree, and you should go there in case well, my channel's going to go very soon. So if you want to find me, you should go to my link tree and see where you can find me. I'm currently okay. I'm also on Truth Social with 0 followers, so maybe you'd like to join Truth Social and be my first follower. I don't know. Now, I seem to be running out of things to say. I'm happy to carry on if you have any questions you want to ask. Mm, have I? Oh, I'll post the link else's channel on Odyssey, since I'm doing free speech a favour. So, Orfeo, you say, okay, I am. So Jay says, True Social was, he thought True Social was just for Americans. So did I. I tried to join after I heard that it had been established. And then I found I couldn't because it was blocked, but now it's been unblocked, so I can join. What religion are you, Orfeo? It sounds like you might suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder. You wonder if I am serious about secular Quranism. Yes, I am serious about secular Quranism. I'm serious about it because I know it's the only solution around. And also, I know that nobody can talk about solutions because they're neurotic. And therefore, I think the solution is actually quite simple. If only people will engage in dialogue with me. Sorry, I shouldn't read my notifications when I'm talking to you. Now, were you going to ask me a question? Were you going to ask me a further question, Orfeo? So, what religion are you? Let's concentrate on you. What's your religion? Catholic? Southerners are Catholic, aren't they, usually? Because you're French or something. And the French that came before the French Revolution would be Catholic. It's interesting that you get, different strains of white people. Why did I why why did I come to the position of secular Quranism? Because well, over the years, because of my interest in politics, I always considered problems and had my solutions, which I knew would be considered too radical to impose, and and then I read the Quran and I discovered that the Quran supported my solution. So I was a convert in that sense. Is that a good enough answer for you, Orfeo? Just to say on the subject of streaming, I'm streaming quite a lot on Twitter Spaces. So if you want to catch all that I do, it's on Twitter mostly. So I'm most active on Twitter. And on Twitter you can stream, and you can also use Twitter Spaces, which is Twitter's own way of allowing you to talk to people. So Orfeo says, I'm Christian in a kind of neo or orthodox sense. Well, what does that mean? You favour the Orthodox Church? Were you always an Orthodox Christian? I suspect not. You have a great love of other cultures and thoughts. Well, that's good. I mean, we should be interested in other cultures. I think it's a better way of enjoying the rich tapestry of life. And also a great source of good ideas um, and gives you the ability to make comparisons of how different people behave, or the fact that they behave the same in certain circumstances. So do you have a particular question, Orfeo Trishula? Perhaps you'll explain your exotic name. Orfeo says, you could say that you're kin to the inklings of C.S. Lewis. I haven't read C.S. Lewis, but I understand him to be Christian, and I think my views about Christianity and saying it no longer works. And I feel I have a duty to warn people that it is no longer fit for consumption if it were food. So while Lewis, I haven't read his books, his Chronicles of Narnia and all that, but yeah, I mean, it's all allegorical, but the point is that you can make any story sound beautiful if you're a talented enough writer, and if you get them, early and young, children who will obviously have fond memories of their childhood, about the first book they read and, about Narnia and all that. But the most important thing is about religion is not what we subjectively feel to be significant in our childhoods, because we will all, well, childhood is sacred to adults. Well, many of our memories are sacred to us. So, and it's all subjective because we will have different memories because we are different people from different backgrounds and from different countries, and that's obviously up to a point we should respect each other's beliefs, or we'd be rude to each other all the time and be fighting amongst each other all the time. But what I'm talking is about what we ought to believe in order to, yes, that is the thing, in order to do what? In order to be an effective, productive, contributing member of the group. And then you go and say, what group? And now we have to order the most powerful groups. And I'm saying religious groups are more powerful than any other group. They're more powerful than empires, more powerful than nations. They are the most enduring and most powerful human groups. So, and also, we have the ability to change our allegiances. So, if we were born Jewish, we can convert to, whatever Gentile religion, and it's also possible for Gentiles to convert to Judaism, and amongst Gentiles, they can convert from one Gentile religion to another. And so the question arises as to which religion would it be best for us to have? Now, there's a question, isn't it? There's a question. So, most people are happy to inherit the religion of their parents because they know that to reject the parents, the religion of their parents would offend their parents and their family. And so they know that it would be more politic to continue with the traditions, or at least conform with the outward rituals of the religion of their ancestors. And then I would ask you to imagine yourself to be orphaned, and also imagine that you are given a country to govern, and obviously to govern well for as long as possible. What religion would you impose on that country? And this is the more important and interesting question, not, which religion do you prefer? What are, perhaps you like, something about Christianity, you like the music, you like the architecture, you like, the way of worship, or, you prefer another kind of worship. But that's neither here nor there, is it? Okay, more comments from Morpheo. Space Trilogy, did C.S. Lewis write Space Trilogy? Oh, yes, he did. Sounds like science fiction. It's also called the Cosmic Trilogy. Okay, my favourite science fiction writer is Isaac Asimov. I don't know what you mean. I find the secular no more mad than any religious. I don't know what that means. Well, you don't seem particularly coherent in your religious beliefs. So you don't understand why I promote religion but seem alienated from all of them. No, I don't consider myself to be alienated from Islam, or indeed any religion. I think I know enough about them to feel reasonably comfortable going into any place of religious worship and take pictures as a tourist would. Yeah, psychohistorians for the win. I suppose you know Asimov was Jewish. And it is also interesting that in his entire universe there were no aliens, and the presumption was that God created the universe for man alone, for the dominion of man alone. I'm not getting any more information from Orfeo about his religious beliefs. So, did you say you were always Orthodox Christian, or is it something that you came to recently? I don't know what you mean. No, right brain then can't enter into an experience. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Are you asking me if I've had a religious experience? But it wouldn't signify anything if I said I had. Because if I said I had, you'd say it's all, you imagined it. You overplay its significance. You know, I mean, I guess a lot of Christians say they thought they saw Jesus walking along the street or something, and he looked right at them and they were transfixed. So Orfeo wants another species to um, to be in existence. I think that would be, asking for trouble, wouldn't it? I'm not sure what an adherent you are saying. Okay, I find it very difficult to understand you. You use a lot of big words. I don't really know what you mean. All right, unless there's anything further, I will end the stream. After saying unsubscribe to Ed Dutton, subscribe to Gus in Lanzarote, whose channel is on Odyssey, whose link you will find in the description.